What's up, everybody? It looks like we're live, and holy shit, I've got Matty Scholtz on with me from Strack Racing. What's up, Matty?
Hey guys, how you doing, Dustin?
Well, dude, I'm stoked that I finally pinned you down to have you in the chair, bro.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me out. I know you've been wanting me on. I haven't been answering the calls, but yeah, finally, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think I scumbagged you enough to where you're like, fuck, I guess.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, man. For like podcasts and just like talking, to the camera on my favorite thing, obviously, but it's part of the deal, and I'm very happy to be here.
Oh,
Just
that's
make it
awesome,
happen.
man. Dude, I've been seeing you murdering dudes in that SuperSport class this year. Holy smokes, man. Did you think that it was gonna be like that so quick?
No, I mean, obviously moving down from the Superbike class, I kind of thought that I should be one of the top Supersport guys, but you never know. Obviously hopping on the R6, which I haven't ridden since 2014. I haven't been on a Supersport bike, so
Right.
I knew that it was going to be quite a big change for me. But I didn't actually realize how big of a change that it actually would be.
Right.
By this point, just getting used to opening to 100% throttle, at max lean and just braking a little bit deeper, trusting the
Yeah.
front more, having less, well, I mean, actually that having zero traction control and just like a whole bunch of things, but I think that I've kind of, kind of adapted well to it. And
Yeah.
the first four rounds have been pretty successful so far. Atlanta wasn't the greatest. I think I qualified a little bit further back, but I came up to third in the first one, fourth in the second race. But overall, I think I had the quickest laps in both of those races. And
Yeah.
yeah, Barber has just got the double there, so I was really happy with that. I know it's going to be a very difficult season, but I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, there's this word that I've been kinda using, Ben Smith kinda came up with it, but it's, the grids, they're stackeder this season.
Sector.
Stackeder. Yeah. Stackeder than before. Like,
Yeah.
motorbike people, like, we're dumb, so, like, making
Yeah.
up words and shit. But, yeah, you've done really well on it, and I saw that you took Sully with you.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, the Captain Sullivan was one of the main, guys, helping me out here and kind of pushing me towards the Super Sport program. I was talking to, Shiby, a bunch of the bagger teams, but this just seemed like it would be the best fit for me, and you kind
Yeah.
of pushed me towards this team, and it's been great so far.
Yeah, it has. I mean, shit, you had been racing with the Westby program since
2016.
16, yeah.
Yeah,
Stock 1000. Stock
yes,
1000,
yes,
right?
yeah. I actually came and I finished off the second half of the 2016 season, and then 17 was the first full season with those guys, and we took the stock 1000 title. So that
Right.
was really cool, and I think that kind of pushed me to kind of be their guy for the next couple of years.
It was fun watching the progression of that program too, you guys I say you guys, like the Westby program, you guys kinda had a stock 1000-ish, and then it kinda, like, morphed into Superbike. It was like you could
Yeah,
tell it was kind of like the same bike for a while, and they were messing around with the swing arm, and then they went all in,
yeah,
and, but watching the bike progress, it was impressive, and you progressed right with that, right? So, um, what was it like what was it like when you discovered you were running up front in Superbike?
I mean, I think in the 2018 season, we kind of had that half Superbike, half stock 1000 deal where we were still kind of running the kitbox software, and then we kind of moved on to the Magnesium Morelli stuff. But there were always one or two tracks where you could kind of see that I was fighting for the podium spots. But I think that getting the Magnesium Morelli software did make the biggest change for us. And I think that was around 2020, maybe
Right.
one or two races then, and then think from the 21 season just started to actually become one of the main superbike guys. And even though I didn't win too many, I think that I kind of always showed that we were a like top three team and a top three rider, which was cool. No, I don't think that we had what some of those factory guys had, but I think that the team camaraderie, setup, the vibe, and everything there just kind of helped us push and kind of be upfront with the factory boys per se. So that was really
Factory
cool.
boys.
Yeah, yeah. Attacking them, they're not considered factory, but they are the factory Yamaha squad.
Yeah,
You know them well, right?
they're the official Yamaha
Yeah,
effort, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's about as close to factory as you
As it
could
gets.
get. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I think in Motor America the only factories are in baggers, right?
Yeah, I think hardly any Indian team, but yeah, back when I first joined the Motor America Championship, they had the factories Suzuki, Yamaha.
Right.
We didn't have Ducati and stuff then, but I think that they have that now. Oh, I don't know if you consider it factory, but I would say that the Warhorse guys are considered the factory Ducati. Titleist is considered the factory BMW.
Yeah.
Attack's the factory Yamaha.
Yeah.
But
Then there's the Suzuki guys.
yeah, I mean, it's just, unfortunate for them that the bike hasn't changed too much since, what was it, 2014, I think, since the last main frame
Right.
change and motor change came out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and unfortunately, Suzuki kind of has been left in the dust there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough field, right? I mean, have you been watching the Superbikes this season?
Yeah, no, definitely. I've been watching them throughout every practice and qualifying, kind of wishing that I was there. But I know that Cameron Bobier has been really, really strong in that Titleist bike. I know that the power on that thing is insane. Those things
Yeah.
really, really jump off of the corner. But I think that Cam and Jake have really shown that the R1 is probably the best handling superbike out there. But now it's just trying to make up the deficit of the power to the turning capability of the bike now.
Right, right. I mean, look, Bobier's Bobier, like
Bobier is nasty. Yeah, I'll give
yeah,
him
dude,
that.
that dude's a murderer too,
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and now that he's on a bike that's like crazy fast too, like it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be
yeah.
tough.
Yeah, I mean, I,
Um,
I I do think that Titleist bike is the quickest bike, but I think that to actually perform at that top level is really difficult because you can see JD Beach when he rode the Yamaha last year was a little bit was a little bit closer to the front of the field than
right.
he has been on this Titleist bike. So I
Yeah.
definitely think that it's a little bit of a handful to ride, but that's just from me looking from the outside in.
Yeah, I mean the words that Cameron said to me like at the first test that he had on the thing last year was, dude, this thing's so fast I felt like I was gonna rip my arms off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
Right.
remember that?
Yeah, and JD kind of said something similar to that. Like I guess he was having a hard time holding on to the thing, and they've messed around with his ergos quite a bit on that thing to get him comfortable on it.
Yeah.
And you can attest to a bike that you've gone fast on all of a sudden not working right, and what happens, right? So
Yeah, I mean, I think that it definitely sucks when you can kind of see that your teammates qualifying first, winning, and you're a little bit further back. But I think that JD is obviously one of the most talented riders in the field, and he's definitely going to figure those things out. But it's
yeah,
been the same as Gagne and Cameron Peterson. Gagne obviously had been riding on that bike for a couple of seasons, and it's taken Cam 1 or 2 years, but he's definitely reached that potential of the bike now, which is cool to see.
yeah, the your South African buddy.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
He's a
CP,
cool man.
last year he kind of like I consider last season for Camp P like a mulligan almost, because like he
Yeah,
had
with
that
his
he had
wrist and
that thing
everything
with his
else.
wrist, and
Yeah.
it was pretty trash, and he's gone and fixed it now, and look at him, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he won the first race on Saturday. He held Gagne off. I think he was closing in on Bobia in the third race on Sunday. So no, he's
Yeah.
definitely come to form, and he's definitely showing that he is where he should be.
So we're gonna talk more about the racing, but like uh, I've had Chuck Giacchetto on a few times, and he always used to talk about your Adonis physique, and
What does that even
I
mean?
think he was saying that I think his term exactly was he's gay for it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So like, what? like what is the Matty Scholtz method of training to stay? Because you're a big dude naturally, right?
Yeah,
You're a big dude. So like, how do you?
6'1". I mean, but I'm sitting at about 158 or 160 pounds, which is extremely skinny for my size. But I mean, I think it's just during the season, just doing a bunch more cardio work and watching the calories that you eat. But I'm pretty fortunate that both of my parents are absolutely skinny rakes. You know what I mean? So I've never really had that problem of actually having to focus on my calories and what I'm actually trying. But I just do the usual mountain bike riding, motocross, boxing, gym, lifting a few weights, running. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, you said boxing, and then you said something. You told me a little bit offline that you're a black belt.
Yes, yeah, I got my black belt in karate when I was like 14 or 15. Just do boxing in my
Okay.
spare time now. I went to a few sparring classes last year, which was cool, but I kind of figured out that I need to keep some of my brain left for the racing.
Okay. Well, note to those competitors that think they're gonna throw down with you.
Nah, but
Yeah,
I'll
that's all we
I'll do
need.
all of my talking on the track. That's fine.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's so. What do you do besides this? Is there anything do you have a day job
Uh,
now, or what are you doing?
No, 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 no. I've actually been pretty fortunate over the last couple of seasons that I've had a decent salary and contingencies. Got some really good sponsors that I've can only just actually focus on my training and superbike racing really. But otherwise, besides riding and training, everything else, I like playing golf and playing video games.
You play
Probably
video
spend
games.
this probably spend about 2 3 hours a day on that thing,
You
wasting
play
my
2 or 3
life
hours a day
away.
playing video games.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I absolutely love it.
Like, are
I would
they
stream it live if
racing?
I could, but I'm just trash at it. No, you know that Call of Duty, like
Oh,
the
you're
first
that
person
guy.
shooter game.
You're the
Yeah, I
first
mean,
person
I play
shooter
with.
guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I play with Peterson, Gagne, Heron's been on there a couple of times. So we all just hang out on that thing, shoot some guys, talk some shit about MotoGP and everything else. And it's a good zone.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that, but I guess a lot of guys are doing the video game thing now, right? I've been doing that since uh, they were using the games to learn the tracks and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I would consider it good for reaction time training and everything else. Maybe I'm just justifying it, but I think it definitely helps. I used to play a lot of MotoGP just to learn the tracks when I was busy racing in the World Championship, so
Yeah.
that did help me there somewhat.
So when did you start racing? Period. Like,
I think motocross when I was about 8. Well, I went to a friend's house when I was about 7. He had a PW50. He had a park next to his house, and just kind of hopped on it. Did a couple of laps around there. Then asked my dad for one, and he used to play soccer on Sundays. So whenever he played soccer, I just used to go to the field and just go and ride around and just do circles. And then went to the motocross track, and one guy came up to us and said, like, "Hey man, you're pretty good. Maybe you should try to enter next weekend's race." Entered that and I actually won. So then, yeah, I just basically started riding motocross nationals at about 8 on the PW50, moved up to 65s, 85s, and then I think maybe when I was about 14, moved to this like motard racing class that we had on pit bikes back home. And on the dirt, I was about the same speed as everyone else, but then when it came to the tarmac, I was quite a bit faster. Then yeah, probably about 14, tried a full road race season and did pretty well on that, and then qualified for the Rookies Cup at about 16, and that kind of set everything off from
what
there.
year was Rookies Cup for you?
2008 till 2010.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, long
And
time back.
so
I
who
mean, I was
was there
with
anybody that
OJ.
you're racing against now or the last couple of years that you were racing against in Rookies Cup then?
So Bobier was in the 2007 season.
Right.
So he was one of the guys that we used to watch, knowing that I was going into the following season. But I think in 2009, a couple of US guys made their way over to the European series. Jeez, I think there was Gillum, Beach, Benny Solis.
Yeah.
I'm definitely missing out a couple of
Those
guys
are the
now.
guys I was thinking of.
Excuse me, yeah, but it's been a long time. But it was actually, oh yeah, and also Gagne. He won
Yeah.
the 2010 season. So when
Yeah.
I came here in 2016, it was cool that I actually knew one or two guys.
Right on. Yeah. And then growing up racing, did you race with the Campy and those guys?
Yes, so he's about 2 or 3 years younger than me, so we didn't race
Oh.
motocross or too much together, but we were flat out going for the 2014 Supersport title back in South Africa that year. It was
Oh.
myself, Campy, and Stephen Odendahl who actually won the Moto2 Spanish Championship a couple of years ago. So we've all kind of gone to separate parts of the world, but it was a very crazy year in the Supersport Championship there. I mean, we were just breaking records left and right. But yeah, so I mean, I've been banging bars with Cam for quite a long time now.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I would imagine so. And then, as far as I know you did some in the World Championship too, right?
Yeah, I went to the World Supersport Championship in 13 and 14. I
And
did
what
2 years there.
what were you riding there?
So the 13, I was on the PTR Honda deal. I was with teammates with Jules Cluzel, Sam Lowe's, Ronan Kwambi. So
Okay.
there was some really fast guys there. And then the second season went to the Siriano Suzuki team. And I actually went slower in the second season. I don't want to talk too much shit, but they promised us a hell of a lot with factory Yoshimura parts, this, and we're going to get factory bits here, and rocked up to the first 2 or 3 rounds of the season with just stock standard shit in the World Championship, and I went about more than half a second slower at every single track, and that's just never happened to me before. So it was a very hard, you know, lesson for us to learn, kind of spend all of our finance, kind of thinking that would be the breakthrough season for me. And that's why I went back home into 2014. It was just costing my family too much money. So we did,
So
yeah.
so when you were in World Supersport, that was a bot ride?
Yes, yeah.
How does that
What,
work exactly? Because I hear a lot of people talking about that sort of thing. What exactly does that mean, bot ride? Mom and dad write a
um,
check and then boom,
that
you're riding?
always changes really, but yeah, I mean, they basically come up to you and say that you can ride for us if you give us 200,000 euros. And that's up to you whether you find personal sponsors, whether your dad pays for it, whether you pay this
Shit.
much at the first half of the season and that much later. And yeah, I mean, it kind of changes with your contract really. But we spent 2 years there, kind of hoping to get that breakthrough year, and just didn't really happen for me. And
Yeah.
it just got to a point where I was like, I mean, we did have sponsors helping out, they're obviously there, but it just kind of gets to a point where I was like, hey man, I'm draining all my family's money here, and I can't let them sacrifice their lifestyle for what I'm trying to do here. So it was a very difficult decision for me, but I felt that was the best thing for me and my family.
I mean,
At
not
that point.
naming names or anything, but do you think there's some of that going on here in the States?
Definitely. I've obviously heard about guys paying for their rides now. I
Yeah,
think that a lot of people think that we all make this much money, but it's only the top 4 or 5 guys that are getting paid in the
right,
Superbike class. Even if you're finishing maybe sixth or seventh, you consider one of the country's best racers,
right.
but you're not getting paid for it. You might be getting 20,000 from this guy and 10,000 from your helmet sponsor, but at the end of the day, we're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars like what the old guys used to. I mean, I've
The
been
old
hearing
guys.
crazy shit about these guys back in '05 getting $1.5 million checks.
Yeah.
If you wrote
The
me a
Matt
one point
Mladen
five
money.
million dollar check, I will ride the bike naked for you, buddy. I mean, whatever you want.
You know what? I mean, careful what you wish for, buddy.
Right? Hey,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was all kinds of talk back in the day, like the Mladen era. I mean, fuck, even Steve Rapp back in the day, right? I mean, that
Yeah.
dude was making pretty good money. I remember that dude like 25 years ago rolling up to a bike night, like a Acura NSX, and we're like, okay,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
he wasn't even like the top dude, and Mladen was making really Miguel, right?
Yes, yeah.
Doug,
Those guys
Chandler,
making some serious
like
money
those guys
back
were
then.
really people are saying OnlyFans content.
Hey,
Like
1.5 million is 1.5 million. It's just
I mean, I mean, I don't remember what Ben Spies was being paid or whatever back then, but it was a
yeah.
significant amount of money. And I think it's like, I think he talked about it like he kind of knew the money was going away in America. And in order to keep making money, that's why he went to Europe,
Went to
right?
Europe, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it was round about that '08 crash with the financial markets that kind
Yeah.
of saw that the money started getting less and less. But I mean, none of us actually started racing bikes professionally to be, millionaires. We just do it for the love of it and the passion. And
You're right.
I honestly couldn't picture myself doing anything else. I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to do anything else. As long as you give me enough money that I can pay for my food, go and play golf once or twice a month, I'm good, man. I just want to race motorbikes. So that's it, really.
I mean, that's that you have the best job in the world, right?
I fucking love it, Dustin.
Yeah. I mean, I could
Excuse
tell.
my French.
Like, no, dude, this is this show, right?
Yeah,
You're French. Like
yeah.
this is this show. But yeah, they the money is not there, but it seems like there's new sponsors coming in out of the industry stuff. I mean, nothing like the alcohol and tobacco stuff for the 90s, early
I
2000s.
think that definitely killed a lot of sponsorship was the cigarettes and the
Yeah,
alcohol, and also the tire war was also another big contributing factor
yeah,
where these tire manufacturers would actually pay the teams $100,000 just to run their stuff for the whole season.
right.
So that was another factor that kind of hurts us a little bit.
Yeah, it's just a lot, and having the teams have to buy the tires. I mean, that affects the privateers, I think, more than the top teams, but still the top teams got
Yeah.
to, the tires didn't used to be a line item in the budget. Now it is. And I don't know. I don't know what that stuff costs per weekend. I'm not really into that, but what do you think a tires cost for the weekend
I honestly
for
couldn't
one per
even
rider?
tell you, Dustin. I mean,
Yeah, you
I
just ride the
just get
bike, right?
told that I just have to worry about, racing and stuff like that. I don't even know how to change a fucking tire. So sorry about that. But I know that it
Don't say sorry to
is
me, bro.
expensive. I mean, yeah, I mean, racing costs a hell of a lot of money, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that a set of tires is what, around $1,500. I mean, I know people are
What?
gonna slate me around 1,500. I'm guessing.
Yeah, you're
Well,
way
I
off,
would,
bro.
I would.
I only know how much tires cost is because I sell them.
Okay, and
Yeah,
how
I
much
don't
is
know
a
how much
set?
Dunlops cost, but I know what Pirellis cost.
How much is a set?
They're like it's over $400
Okay,
per set.
for the whole set.
Yeah, it's for front and
Okay,
rear. It's like close to $500.
yeah, yeah.
The-
I mean, that's a hell of a lot of money. And on the superbike, you be
Yeah,
probably burning them up every 20 laps. If you
yeah,
want to be competitive in the superbike class, you can't do more than 20 laps on a tire, or you're
right,
just wasting your time because you can't even bother doing your setup on those older tires because it just completely changes when you put another new one on.
right.
So that's also something that I know testing that we used to rock up with, you know, 8 rears, 4, 5 fronts, and
Yeah,
burn through them in a single day. That's just
yeah,
part of the nature of superbike racing nowadays.
yeah. I mean, I've seen them too. I've been over there with and watching Fernando on the race team just bust tires all day, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
first day of a test. I mean, it's pretty common for them to just, okay, get that off there. We're gonna throw the 7 on there now.
yeah, yeah.
We're
And
gonna
then
do the
you want to put
R8.
a qualifying lap time down, or it's a Q2 session. You're doing back to backs on a brand new rear. You use it for 4 laps. You take it off, chuck it away. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so there's some commentary about the team name and your T-shirt right there. And like I've given your team owner like a little shit. I was like, "Oh, dude, you're like Tony Stark, right? Like you're the yeah, like rich guy building cool shit."
Yeah.
And he's like, appreciate that. But tell me a little about working with the Stracks.
Oh, they've been awesome. I mean, they welcome me with open arms in a very difficult time for me. They've been great. Helped out with Kiara, myself. Whenever I need something, I can just ask them. They always make me feel that I can just ask them for something. They are really cool. Whenever we've had one or two bad practice sessions, there's no anger or shouting or it's this one's fault. Everyone's very, very calm, and I think that they appreciate what I have to say, which is also nice. But yeah, it's been a really great positive season so far with them. The Pete and Jess have been great.
Yeah, I mean they seem pretty switched on. They had another team name before, but now they're this new team name. And
Yeah.
I've heard some commentary about that and all that, but who cares? Like you got a ride, and I'm stoked for you for that.
Thank you.
There's some comments in here. I think it's Joel, Pinky, Joel. He's got a couple of Jesus Christ. He's got a bunch of questions for you. He's like, I'm just. Is there anybody in the super sport class this year that you've raced against that surprised you?
Not really. I've obviously raced with PJ Jacobson the last two, three seasons. Blake Davis is, I've always known that he's a super talented kid and he will be winning Superbike titles in a couple of years' time. That Maxi Gerardo guy, definitely surprised me a little bit. I had never really heard of
Yeah.
him before, but I was told that he's Brazilian national superbike champion, which is, obviously to win a national title somewhere, you have to be crazy good, no
Yeah.
matter where it is.
Oh, for sure.
Um, yeah, I mean, and it's just, racing against Corey and a bunch of other guys too. It's been the paces definitely are quicker than what I thought. I know that it doesn't.
Really.
I know that it doesn't look like I'm working the R6 like I did on the R1, but I promise you, I'm pushing that thing to its absolute limit. I'm losing the front everywhere, spinning up a little bit, just sliding around. So I think that you can also look at the lap times from the previous seasons as well. We're going at least half a second quicker in every race. I think that the pace has definitely stepped up quite a bit there.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there with Maxi Gerardo. I mean, I said it on the show last night with Ricky Bobby and Michael Hill.
Yeah.
Like that dude was in the front, and we're like, "Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah,
Like,
he did
where
a
did he come from?"
25.7 on a SuperSport bike in qualifying too. I mean, I was like, holy shit, we're in trouble here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And he's on that Suzuki as well, which is extremely quick, punches off of the corners. But yeah, I
yeah,
think to do a 25.7 on a SuperSport bike at Barber is insanely fast.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what do you think about that class overall? You're racing the R6,
Yes.
and you have a bunch of shit to make it so it's fast, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
shit that you probably don't know. You just get on it, and ride it. But like,
Got a new head or something
there's a
like
lot of kit
that.
that goes on the 600 that allows it to be kind of competitive against the 150 plus,
Yeah, the
advantage,
750s and V2s.
1,000 or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I think that the top end speeds are kind of similar, with the head helping out the R6, but it's definitely the punch out of the corners that the larger displacement bikes have more torque. But I think it's pretty obvious to see that the R6 definitely has the better handling on the front end. I think that there's less like weight, there's less like push coming from the motor of the bike as well.
Yeah,
So overall, I think that I just have to make up time where the R6 is actually built to make up its time compared to those bigger bikes.
yeah. One of the commenters, Rick's Picks, he's like that dude that takes,
I know.
Rick, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so he was like, "Yeah, dude, Gerardo's been racing in Florida for the last few years and has won lots at Homestead."
Yeah, that's cool. But there's quite a big step up from the regional racing to the national level. but
Yeah,
but he's obviously good. Winning a national title and winning local stuff down in Florida as well.
right.
Um, But yeah, I mean, like you said, I think that the super sports classes are stacked this year. I think every single
Yeah,
person said it about a million times to me, but I'm just focused on trying to be upfront at this point.
that's so. Is there a track on the schedule that you're looking forward to, knowing that you're going to go fast regardless of what happens?
I think that Barber was definitely one of those tracks,
Okay.
because I knew that if I didn't do well there, we were going to be in some serious trouble for the rest of the season. But fortunately, I took the double there and kind of showed what we're capable of. Now it's just having to just kind of look over my shoulder at the rest of the guys coming at me now. Even though PJ's got the championship lead, I think we had a not the greatest first round of the season, and
Yeah.
now it's just trying to really make up those points, and then just kind of look at the rest of the circuits, because we got road America coming up next, which definitely doesn't suit the R6 bike. So I think if I can have a pretty decent weekend there, I think that it's going to put us in good seed for the rest of the year.
So, I mean, what do you think it's going to take? I think obviously I have my ideas for you. I mean, your fucking starts, like,
Yeah, I know
I mean,
my starts are complete ass, but I think using the launch control for the past 6 or 7 years on that R1, and now just having to manually do it's kind of been quite a big change. But we've changed the clutch perch, the clutch in the bike, and it's I think I've kind of figured it out a little bit, but it's
dude,
definitely the weakest part of my game
like, how
right
come you
now.
and Sully haven't been at the 8th mile drag strip, dude? Like,
I know I need to. I was actually thinking about buying my own R6 bike and just ripping a couple starts up and down up and down the street outside here every single night.
um, man, there's a bunch of questions now. I don't know. Like, it's
Okay.
weird. Like
Have at it.
the
I'm
numbers of
here.
the show go up. We're at over 4,000 people now,
Oh
and
well.
now questions are just jumping in. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Chunky Buns, she's the one that makes all the memes making fun of shit.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
she says, "Someone give this guy a bigger check. He'll race naked and shave more time. It's science."
Yeah. At this point, it's only such. Yeah. Get that aero package down a little
Yeah,
bit. Save
and
some
then
weight on the leathers and the helmet.
yeah, and then Knudsen says, "Hidden agenda, Chunky Buns." So, yeah, Matt, Irate Berry says, "Will you wear aviators, a sheriff's hat, and a mustache if I provide it on the grid?"
Which race are we talking about? I mean, for code, I think that's perfect. I'll grow the muzzy out, but I don't think that it's a very full
The Muzzy.
mustache. Yeah, I used to have one. And I just got shit for it, so I just decided I'm
Wow.
gonna go with the clean shaven look from now on.
Like,
I
is
got
he
that
trying to?
70s porno
Yeah, is
comment
he
a
trying to
couple
say
times.
that you look like Officer Dangle or
I haven't watched that film, but I've been told to a
Reno
couple times.
911 or whatever TV
Oh,
show?
okay, Reno, no, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I thought you talking about that other one.
Yeah, yeah, Super Troopers. Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
that
okay,
works
that's
too.
the one. That's the one. Super Troopers.
Yeah. And then let's see, Chris McCreary says, "Do you ever ride supermoto like PJ and Posh? I think you'd kill it on one of those."
No, unfortunately not. The last time I rode a motard bike was back in 2007, eight maybe. I did go to the American Supercam motard training deal a couple of years back, but
Road
we
Race
didn't do
Factory. Yeah.
too many laps. Yeah, we were just kind of messing around. I think it was a TTR 230 or something.
Was it in Colorado?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, I went to that.
up in
Yeah.
Loveland, Colorado. I think it
Yeah, it's
was.
in the middle of fucking nowhere. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually almost broke my collarbone.
What?
Me and Campy were kind of messing around, and he tipped in, and like I tried pushing him out a little bit, and he just kept on leaning in on me, and I went
Of course he
over the
did.
high side and hurt my shoulder for the following weekend race there, but
Of course.
all good fun.
All in good fun. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Walker had that school. I don't know if he's still doing it or not, but
He does
for
the
that,
American Supercam deal now, but it's
right.
I would say it's more of a flat track based training system on the dirt, but it works for everything really.
Yeah, I mean, I went to that road race factory school. Danny was like, "Hey, man, I need somebody to like you to come check this school out." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So I fly to Colorado and I do this thing, and I think the instructors that day were JD Beach and Campy, I think,
Yeah.
and Hunter Dunham.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I know
Yeah,
that Campy and JD Beach have been a part of that, or they used to race for the Road Race Factory for years and years. I know
yeah,
that
Jake
Danny
too.
Walker has been, yeah, sorry, and Jake, yeah. I think that Danny's been a part of those guys' program for many, many years.
Right. Yeah, it was fun. Danny had this thing set up at like a couple of corner exits where he'd set up a radar gun and have a display, so you could
Yeah.
come out and see the display, and I thought that was pretty
Know if you're
fun.
being a pussy or not.
Yeah.
Know if you're holding
Like,
that thing
yep, here
back.
it's and then he'd go out there, like the old man would go out there and throw down. It was like, "Oh shit.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay." Yeah, that was fun. So what's your favorite track on the schedule? Is it Barber?
Yeah, probably Barber. Laguna Seca is cool. Pittsburgh was definitely one of my favorites as well.
Yeah.
Virginia was also nice. Maybe I just like them because those were the circuits that I've always done pretty well at.
Yeah.
I think that most of the tracks that like tend to flow well suit me more than the like tighter circuits, like the
Like
harder braking, stopping the bike and
like
lifting
the
it up and
ridge.
driving. I like to flow it more a little bit on the edge of the tire.
Like your thoughts on the ridge, right?
The first half of the track is so sick, but the last couple of corners are just. I don't want to get in too much trouble here. I just kind of seem like the last couple of corners they're just like, okay, well, we just kind of need to finish off at the circuit here. But the first, I think it's like 10 or 12 corners are so sick. Up and down in the hills,
Yeah.
they flow well. The curbs are nice. The tarmac smooth. It's really cool then.
So
But the but
you're
the but the first chicane sucks. That is definitely something
yeah,
that
that
I would like
first
not to
gear,
be.
it's weird. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess
especially at the start.
the local club racer dudes, they keep going and they go into, the super fast turn one down there.
Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, it definitely would be scary. I know that the Motor America Championship worries about the safety and the Armco there a little bit further up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Well, there it's a tree line, right?
yeah. I know that Josh Heron rode up to the tree line, last year. So I know
Well,
that's
not
definitely
there. He rode on the
possible.
Yeah, he rode up to the tree line in another area, didn't he?
I think was through corner one. I think he maybe ran a little bit wide. You pick it up, but yeah, I'm not sure.
I
But
don't
I know
know.
that you can definitely reach the tree line if you run off somewhere there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I guess the only equivalent to that turn one would be Brainerd, the original Brainerd turn one, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but
yeah.
I was told that they just used to hold the pin through there, right?
Oh
You
yeah,
know, they
dude.
used
Yeah.
to 180 something miles through that corner.
Yeah. And now, I mean, now you're kind of doing that, but you're not doing 200. You do it 200.
Yeah, I mean, I think that last year we were kind of clicking up to fifth gear and just holding fifth through that
Yeah.
corner. Almost pinned. You'd kind of breathe it off to about 25% throttle and then whack it back on through that corner. But we've obviously got traction control and everything else helping us not to spin up and
Oh yeah.
slide out there. But there's always a one or two corners on every track that you go there knowing like this is the corner that I do not want to
Oh
crash at. And
yeah.
Brainerd corner one is definitely that one for sure.
Even now, right?
Yes,
Like
yes, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, no, yeah, yeah.
Like I'll never forget like when we was it 2021? I think it was 2021. We went out there and tested and Richard let me ride the R7 thing. So I'm out there riding it. You guys are out there. And I made sure to leave like 6 foot to my left. And
Yeah,
I mean, I knew you were coming and I just left your room and like having
yeah.
you
I think
suck
there's
the
an
paint off of that R7 on the Superbike. I was just like,
yeah. I
oh,
mean, there's a massive difference in speed from the R7 to the R1. That's for sure.
R1's Superbike.
Yeah,
Stock
yes, yeah.
R7, R1 Superbike.
Yeah, not even
Yeah.
on the same planet, really.
Yeah, not even on the same planet. You're
Yeah.
exactly right, man. You're exactly right. So, going back to the Superbike thing. So you ride for them for a long time, and then it's like they announced that Westby was pulling the plug
Yeah.
super late, right?
Yeah, it was almost around Christmas time that we kind of heard about the news, which was unfortunate. Firstly, I just want to say that I really wish all the best for the Westby girls and the family and Trig and everyone else. It was a beautiful 6 or 7 years there, and I just thank them for everything that they did for me. But I mean, yeah, kind of got the news close to Christmas time, and unfortunately, all the seats had been taken up by that point. In
Right.
Superbike and even in the super sport category.
Yeah.
I was calling teams, messaging guys on Instagram, Facebook, trying to call them. Spoke to a couple of bagger guys, Superbike teams, and it was just unfortunately that there was no real good seats left. And none of
Yeah.
the teams, or some of them, didn't actually answer me. A few guys led me on for a couple of weeks and then bailed on me at the
So
final
true.
second. But yeah, it was just very bad timing. But I do understand that Trig was, extremely
His
sick,
health.
and it was just something that I don't believe was his first choice. But I believe that the people who maybe surround him kind of pushed him towards that. And
Right.
unfortunately, I think that it was a major, major, major loss for not just me, but for the series and for everyone who watches this championship.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it was like that team continued on in spite of Dane's passing, right? Like that,
Yes,
and
they actually ran it in honor of Dane, to
yeah,
kind of show that he could have done something and to kind of keep the Westby name, up in lights. And I like to think that we did a very good job there. We were obviously a privateer, smaller team, and I think that we really showed that if you have enough resources and you keep at it and you surround yourself with some proper guys and guys that are passionate about it, that
yeah.
you can do big things.
Well, to go with what you're saying, I mean, look what's happening with ADR, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
no,
mean,
they're doing a
holy
brilliant
shit.
job.
Like a team all of a sudden finds themselves with some resources and they've
Yeah.
got a good rider and they got a good bike. And next thing you know, they're running at the front, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing now. I think that resource and finance are definitely a big part of motorbike racing now. Not just even motorbike racing, but Formula One, car racing, IMSA, whatever you want to call it. The teams usually that have the biggest checkbook seem to be closer to the front. So it definitely helps having to be able to kind of buy those new swing arms, the new software, the new whatever it is that your team needs. But also believe that with the ADR racing team, Robbie Peterson, who moved there, has made quite
Legend,
a big difference. I mean,
the
Robbie Peterson's
legendary
needed.
Robbie Peterson.
Robbie Pearson is an
Yeah,
absolute legend, and I believe that he's
yes.
one of the best crew chiefs there. And I've said it for years and years that Bobby Fong is one of the most talented riders there. He just needs to have everything right for him, and he'll give you wins. On
I
the
mean,
on his
and
day.
and he will like
Yeah, he definitely will win one or two races this season. That's for sure.
yeah,
His late race pace is also insane sometimes.
yeah.
I don't know why. Like one lap, he'll just go from doing, let's just call it a 25.5, and then he'll just randomly do a 25.0, and then just keep at the 25.0 for the last half of the race, whereas everyone else
Yeah.
starts to kind of drop off, and he just seems to find something. No,
We
but
we saw
I'll
him
let.
we saw him do crazy stuff like that at Podium Club too. He'd be like the dude would be like doing 30s, high 29s, and then all of a sudden he'd throw like a 26.9 down. Like,
Yeah,
what? Like,
yeah,
where did
yeah.
that come from, dude?
Yeah, I think that if you want somebody to push your bike to its absolute limits, Fong is the man there.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
definitely rides extremely hard, which is cool to see.
Yeah, no excuses from that guy. Like that dude has a stamp on the envelope every time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, more questions coming in. Irate Barry is asking you about Utah. What about Utah?
Oh no, Utah was a beautiful track. I liked it there. But unfortunately, they kind of took it off the schedule. It was also one of my favorite tracks, and now that I'm thinking about it as well, I've got very fond memories of it there.
Yeah.
it was very safe, cool. I love the go-karting there as well. We did have some
Go-karting it.
memories of us getting kicked off there, but
Yes.
otherwise, yeah, Utah was a very awesome track. I definitely liked the full Superbike layout that we had there. I think the last year that we went, they did the shorter configuration, which
Yeah.
wasn't my favorite, but I think the full Superbike layout was awesome.
Yeah, the perimeter, right? The
Yes,
perimeter
yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah.
Yeah, that was it was so much fun to ride there. What do you think of I guess we're in this golden era right now with fucking new pavement everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess, the Ridge got new last year, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The last couple years.
yeah, yeah,
Laguna got new, dude, Sears Point.
yeah,
Sonoma got new pavement. Jersey, Road America got new pavement.
yeah.
Where else? Like, I guess Mid Ohio, right?
Yeah,
Y-
I haven't been there yet, but being told that they should be putting some new pavement down. I know Jersey that they've been kind of mentioning it for the last couple of seasons, but I haven't seen it yet. But I'm hoping so the next round.
Is uh is your team planning on race testing at Mid Ohio before you guys race there?
At this point, I don't think so. No. But I know that Dunlop has a testing day on the Thursday before the weekend, which won't
Okay.
count towards the actual practice time or the tires that we want to use for the
Uh,
racing weekend. So
okay.
that will definitely help. But I'll also watch a bunch of YouTube clips and the older races from there.
So you didn't go and try to do the Loudon Classic club race thing?
No, no.
No.
I would be keen to do it. I heard that they've got a pretty nice purse for it.
Yeah.
But it was just over the last couple of seasons. I've obviously just focused on the Superbike class, and I think that that my old team, that the Westby Racing, just didn't want to take those extra risks of going to those kind of things. Or maybe I can convince Peter, at
Yeah.
Strack Racing
That dude
to
that
go to
dude
something
seems to be
like
wants
that.
he wants to win. Like,
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, we've always said that we're not there to for in a second. We obviously go into the super sport class to try to focus on the championship, and no matter which round we go to, we always want to win. And hopefully next year I can also do the 200 for them, or figure something out.
I mean, would it be out of line to think that Strack maybe has Superbike aspirations, or am I crazy?
Um, I've definitely mentioned that to Peter before, but I think at this point we're just going to focus on the Super Sport Championship. But
Yeah.
I don't think that it is out of the question. But
Yeah.
at this point, we're just fully focusing on the Super Sport season and what we have to do.
Right
Um,
on.
but yeah, I'll definitely push him towards that. He seems very, very, very keen. He loves the paddock. He loves being around, and obviously Superbike is the main category.
Do you do you ever think about World Superbike at all? Do you have like
No, no, I'm a little bit old for that now. I'm 31 now. I believe that I kind of got my chance at professional racing a little bit later. I was 24 when I came in race in 2017 or whatever it was, full time. And at that point, by the time I got up to the Superbike class and I was actually winning one or two races, I was about 27, 28, which is a little bit late to go over there.
right.
And I'm just happy here. It's the paddock's beautiful, the people are cool, the tracks are fun. I was able to kind of race one of the best prepped ones in the whole country slash the world.
Yeah.
So I've just been happy. I've got my house here, got my life set up, friends. You know what I mean? So
You're living
I
in
don't really have
Georgia?
any. Yes, yeah, Ackworth, Georgia. I don't really see any big reason to kind of push into the World Superbike Championship now. And I kind of spent my time there when I did the Spanish Championship and then the World Supersport Championship for 2 years, and it just wasn't really happening for me there. I kind of think that the language barrier, like their, like
You
lifestyle,
think you were too young? You think you weren't ready?
maybe
Maybe?
maybe at that stage, but I
Fair.
definitely had the. I mean, a lot of people always told me that I kind of had the talent for it, but I just think after those 2 years of getting screwed around and told that we're getting this and we didn't really get what we were promised, and people offering me rides for the following year, telling me that it would be this much money, and then at the final hour changing it and making it almost friggin' double what they said. And I was just like, man, let's just leave this place. So I kind of started racing here in 16, and I've loved every second of it.
Isn't it just strange that our sport is a lot of empty promises like that? Like, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, I just think unfortunately that it just costs so much money to go racing and get all these parts and everything else that sometimes the guys push themselves a little bit far on their promises to get these talented guys in, and then unfortunately it gets to a point where they can't provide what did they said.
Yeah, I mean,
Could be
I
wrong.
think I think a lot of good intentions,
Yes, of course, yeah,
right?
yeah,
But they shouldn't make promises unless they actually have the money in their hand.
yeah,
That's the thing that bugs. And I see it all across the board. Even with the team that I'm involved in, I've seen companies
oh
with
yeah,
empty promises there too, and it's like,
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
man, like
Or sponsors
number
promise
one
you
team
that
in the
this much.
paddock. What?
Yeah, I know. Or you've got sponsors promising you that this much money, and they say they'll pay the second half of this, and yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you guys have been the top Superbike team for the past 4 seasons now, right? I mean, I think
I
Bobia
mean,
won in
2020.
2020. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then Gagne won the last 3 seasons after that. He's
right.
obviously the main favorite now. I think that Bobia and Gagne are considered the title favorites, but you've obviously got Peterson, Sean, Dylan Kelly's coming along well, but I think that that you guys and Tartlers would be considered the top team racing for the championship at this point. But things can always change. I know that the Ducati guys are trying to get there, but haven't had the best start to the season so far. Unfortunately, Baz over there has had a bit of a shitty start. Unfortunately, with getting ass packed, and then the back marker taking him out at Bob in the second race, and really see what happened there. But
I mean,
something crazy happened.
I will say this, dude. Like Baz, I talked about it a little bit last night, but when we were when we went to World Superbike in Portugal a couple years ago, I'm like having to shuffle Jake around. Like Yamaha was texting me like, "Hey, make sure Jake gets to this thing at whatever time." So I'm like kind of dragging him around the paddock, and then we run into Baz, and Baz was telling us all like he had this look on his face of just pure excitement at the news that Road America was going to get repaved. So now it's been repaved,
Yeah.
and he's back. I think Baz is a threat this weekend.
Definitely. I mean, I think
Maybe
that
not his teammate,
Johnson.
but his like Baz. I don't
No,
know.
I think that Heron won there last year, right? I think he won the first race, and that's where he was kind of flipping everyone off and got in a little bit of
Oh
shit
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Like he does. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think that this track kind of definitely lends itself towards the quicker bikes, which would be the Ducati and the Beamer. But Gagne and Peterson are going to always be there, no matter what.
Right. I mean, I talked to Camp P a couple days ago, and he was like, "Dude, I'm so pumped."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
And
I know that Cam's really found himself a new feel towards the bike and a new
yeah,
mental look at the whole racing and the season stuff. And I know that he's feeling quietly confident, which is always
yeah,
a dangerous Cam.
yeah,
So I'm really hoping that he shows them this weekend.
yeah. Well, you're going this weekend, so
Yeah.
I mean, you know, let's talk about the other classes. What your picks are? Like, who do you think's gonna do what in what class? Like, I don't know if you pay attention to Junior Cup at all, but I don't really pay attention to it either. So
To be honest, I haven't really focused too much on it. I
yeah,
did see that Avery's there, the guy who won it last year,
yeah,
Medina, a couple guys. Apologies to the kids. I just
yeah.
get
Me
kind of
too.
caught up with my own side of the racing. But
Right.
but I mean, there's going to be 7, 8 kids racing at the front at that track.
Uh, the
With the
draft,
slipstreams there. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, the draft at Road America on little bikes, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably draft them back if they draft you too soon at that track on the Junior Cup box.
Oh yeah. Okay. How important is the draft going to be in the super sport bike? Do you think?
I mean, I think it's going to definitely play a major role. I think that obviously on the super sport bikes, it makes quite a bit more of a difference than on the super bike. So I think that timing your qualifying lap to kind of catch that draft coming up the hill, or maybe slipstreaming someone from corner 3 down to corner 5. I think that you can easily shave off maybe half a second just getting a good slipstream on a super sport bike. So I think it's
Really?
going to be vital to kind of time your qualifying lap and when you're going to slipstream someone, because like I said, you don't want to slip them too soon and they can kind of slip you back and get up, and get up next to you by the next braking zone. So
Right.
I think the tactics is going to definitely play a little bit more there.
Right on. And what's your master plan? Obviously to get a good start, but like, what's your master plan for Road America?
I mean, at this point, I don't really have any plan. I just kind of look at the practice times, qualifying times, just see who can work with the older tire better, who's got the faster bike, and just kind of take it from there. Because obviously, if somebody's got a quicker bike, like one of the quickest bikes, you don't want to pass them into the third corner that you ruin their drive, where you rather want to sit on their tail and kind of draft them up to corner 5 and maybe past them there, that they don't have the chance to kind of slip back by you.
Right.
That you have a couple of corners onto the next, longer, like straight. So I think that those are all just factors that we're going to have to look at after the Friday or Saturday qualifying.
So you were saying earlier that you didn't know if people could tell that you were riding your balls off on that 600.
Yeah.
Like, but the commentators were like, "Oh yeah, that thing probably feels like a turd to him, and he's flinging it around like it's a toy."
Yeah, I mean, I just think that I'm not spinning up coming out of the corners, which I used to do on the R1 a lot.
Yeah,
But I mean, through the apex of the corner, like on the R6, you definitely pushing the front, feeling the bike slide. You get those like two wheel drifts coming out of the corner
yeah.
sometimes, where you're not actually spinning the tire, but you're kind of actually sliding, like off the edge of it a little bit. So I mean, trust me, even though on TV it doesn't look like you're pushing hard, I'm definitely feeling the bike working itself back at me, whether it's the tire flexing coming into the corners or the rear tire losing its grip a little bit. Trust me, I think every person there is feeling their bike sliding and moving around and pushing. Just
Everybody
on
at
the
the
TV,
pointy
you
end,
can't,
anyway.
you can't really see it on the TV. Like, trust me, on the TV, if you see somebody pushing the front or sliding the rear on the bike,
Yeah.
it feels way crazier than what the TV shows. Trust me.
So, there's some comments coming in. Okay, so Irate Berry says that he's gonna send me a care package to give to you. I guess
Okay, thank you,
I
buddy.
I don't know what I it's probably your Officer Dangle uniform, but
Okay.
whatever that is.
At least it's better than the fire department hat that you gave me last time.
Hey, that fire de
I
dude, I was actually looking
like
for
that
that.
hat though.
I was looking for that fire department hat to wear tonight.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're sitting there in the pits and you're doing an interview and the bike behind you just explodes. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even know that there was a fire there, but the camera guys that they were sitting, in front of me started freaking out. And I could kind of see by their eyes were lighting up that something major was going on behind me. And I kind of
Actually,
started looking back, and the flame was.
I think I see that hat. I think it's right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get it.
No, grab it.
Yeah, look at that. I was looking for it and it was right behind me the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
see, number 11, engine 11.
The number 11 engine, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. The Westby Fire Department. Oh shit, PJ Jacobson's on commenting. Look at
PJ,
that.
I'll see you this weekend, buddy.
Oh yeah, right?
No. Nah, I mean, PJ's honestly one of the best guys to kind of, bang some bars with. He doesn't
Yeah.
make any dirty moves. He gets that thing sideways. It's always cool to kind of follow him, because I've never
Yeah.
seen a guy smoke a 600 tire like I did PJ last weekend in Barber.
Well, you still haven't, right? Because PJ's not riding a 600.
Well, whatever you want
Ah,
to call it, 690 or whatever they call it nowadays.
900 and something, right?
Yeah,
V2.
whatever
Yeah.
it is. Yeah,
And no offense to PJ, but I did have him picked as the winner for the season, but that was
you're gonna
before I
lose
found out.
some.
That was
You're gonna lose
that's
some money there, Dustin.
no, that's before I found out you were racing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there you have it.
I mean,
Um,
he is the championship leader at this point, so
oh yeah,
your
yeah.
money's safe for now.
I wasn't betting. I was just saying, like, that's who I predict to win until obviously I found out you're riding a thing. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, no number two moves from PJ. Matt Knutson says that. So let's go into the comments here. Joel wants to know: do you have any hated rivalry or whatever between the riders in the paddock?
No, I mean
You don't
everyone's
have any
cool.
rivalry, right? Or do you?
No, I mean myself and Baz had our fair share of comments. Petrucci and me also had a few run-ins
Yeah,
as well. But nothing that would lose some sleep over or like hated the guy for. But
right.
just when Petrucci kind of questioned the championship and my passes and everything else, and it just kind of pissed me off a little bit. So, but otherwise, I mean, not really. Everyone in the paddock super super friendly, really cool. I know back in the day there were a lot of rivalries, like Matt and Speece used to hate each other.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm friends with I think most of the guys. I think I'm friends with them. I mean, maybe they fucking hate my guts, but I'm cool.
Yeah, it's definitely there's not like that.
That
There's not like
intense
that.
rivalry like they want,
Yeah,
but
like John Hopkins and Curtis Roberts,
yes, yeah, yeah.
right? Yeah. So, okay. Steve Pettinger says that he said you rode amazingly at Barber, and he's stoked
Thank you.
to go to Road America to see you this weekend. Um, let's see. Rick's Picks says, don't forget to have some cheese curds and a bratwurst while in Wisconsin this weekend, Matthew. It
Make
is
sure
his
that
home
I do
state after
that.
all.
Yeah, make sure I do that after the race on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, after the race. But PJ, you can go ahead and have it now, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, please, you pack on those pounds. It's all good for you, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
most of the guys in the super sport class are quite a bit lighter than me. I lost, from the off season now, I lost about 20 pounds to kind of get on
No
the
kidding.
super sport bike. When I was back home, I was 180 pounds. No, but I wasn't really training, kind of lost that drive and everything after losing the super bike ride. But once I figured out I was going to be on the super sport bike, I lost about 20 pounds, which for my
Starving
frame is a
yourself?
lot. Yeah, I mean, just doing a bunch of cardio, chilling at home, not really eating food. Yeah,
That
kind
sucks.
of, kind of part of the game. But I think that most of the guys that I'm racing with are 130, 140 pounds. And I'm
Right.
definitely one of the taller guys, and that hurts you more on the super sport bike.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I can definitely make it up braking or into the corners. So.
Yeah. And then without taking John White says without taking into account the race results, is the R6 more or less fun than the Superbike to ride?
I'd say that the R1 was definitely more fun for me. You just kind of get a little bit more feedback from the bar. You can kind of spin it up to help you turn. You can dial the EB up, depending on what you want. And maybe this might change from just a regular R1 to what I was racing, but we were
Yeah.
able to kind of change traction control for corner one had this much, corner two had that much, corner three had
Yeah.
50% torque, corner four had 75. So we were changing so many things corner by corner. With the
Yeah.
R6, it's kind of just like, okay, we're putting in this much engine brake here, and that's what you've got for the whole track. So it's a very simplified version, but I definitely liked having to make the superbike perfect for every single corner. That
Yeah,
was
like
more
I want a
fun.
little bit of wheelie control more right there. And that's
There,
it.
I want a little
Yeah.
bit less EB at
Yeah.
this tipping point here, and at this
Yeah.
much RPM, I do need more. When the bike's upright here, give me more. When I'm tipping in less here, give me more. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot more changing, which did kind of suck sometimes, but it's just
Yeah.
boring now. I come off of the track and I say to
Boring.
Ed, hey, listen, I'm getting chatter in corner 3. I need less, of this in corner 6, and the briefing's done. That's it.
Yeah.
Briefings are now 10, 15 minutes long, whereas a Superbike they were hours. So
Really?
it's
Okay.
definitely a lot more simplified now.
Let's see. Rick's picks. He says we could use a nice brawl and some drama in the paddock like they had in NASCAR last weekend. Let's stir some shit up. Well, you know what, Rick? I'm going to respond to that. Like our sport, the action is actually good enough to where you don't need to make up some bullshit drama in the paddock.
Yeah. What actually happened?
I
I
don't
saw
know.
one guy just
Rednecks fighting.
ram the
That's what
other
that's what
guy
I
right in
saw.
the face. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the rednecks fighting. That's what that is. That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's their racing is so shit that the only thing anybody talks about is the fight.
Yeah, to be honest,
There
I
you
haven't
go.
watched a NASCAR race in years.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
familiar.
And then let's see. Lieutenant Dan has legs says, "Hey Matt, what are the top 3 things that you'd tell a club racer to do to train to become a better racer?"
Reaction time training, I would guess. Fitness is also a major part of it. And just riding something that you can kind of get the feedback from the front and the rear tire, whether that's motocross, motard, mountain bike riding, just kind of something that actually like simulates you in that like crouched over position, feeling the brakes, the handlebars, feeling how the front moves, whether the back tire is sliding or not. That's just probably one of the best training methods. So you don't have too many choices there, but I'd say motocross to me has probably always been the biggest training tool, just because you have to worry about what the rear tire is doing, what the front tire is doing at all times. But otherwise, I mean, motard, mountain bike riding, whatever, just
Right.
go kind of something just to simulate getting that feeling through the handlebars and through the wheels.
Do you guys hear the passion in this guy? Man, I'm not kidding. I'm stoked to see you race this weekend. Appreciate your staying up late on the East Coast time to do this crap,
Yeah,
to talk shit with me on the internet.
no worries.
I wish you the best of luck this weekend, Matt. And how about I'm gonna just stop talking and let you take the last however many minutes you need to thank sponsors or whatever. Anything you got to say to wrap it up?
No, well, I mean, firstly, thank you for having me on, Dustin. Everybody else watching it, back home, thank you for following the journey, and yeah, hopefully we just have a really positive rest of the 2024 season. I think Barber really showed that we're capable of running up at the front. I'm really getting used to the R6. And yeah, I mean, obviously the goal for me is just to kind of win the title this year and go up to the Superbike class again in 2025. But who knows what the future holds? But those are the
Yeah.
goals for me now.
Yeah, well, go kick ass and come on, Mr. Strack. Let's go superbike racing next year, buddy. Let's do this shit.
Yeah, right, right.
Right on, man. Well,
Okay.
best of luck this weekend. And what, you flying out tomorrow?
Yeah, it's tomorrow morning.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you get back to bed, buddy. Thank you guys for
Cool.
watching this crap, and I hope you guys subscribe to this thing and all that. And peace out. All
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. See you.
right.